afternoon. It is Monday, November 20th. Welcome to my Facebook Live. I'm Mary Knabe, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio, and I'm in my Stampin' studio, where I spend lots and lots of time, of course. This is my second Facebook Live for today. I had one this morning, and the purpose of the one this morning was to do a mini catalog walkthrough with you. And the reason for that is starting tomorrow, November 21st, our last chance list and our carryover list go live. So I did a Facebook Live where I walked you through the catalog and we marked what's retiring, what might be on sale, or is going to be on sale. You can see, if you missed that, it is very helpful. I don't know about you, but going through these little lists can be a little nerve-wracking for me. So I started several years ago doing this walkthrough with my customers and with my viewers to make it easier for you, because you can just mark things right in your catalog and it's so much easier than using those small print PDFs. If you missed that live this morning and you do want to see what's retiring, see what's on sale, and see what's carrying over, be sure to go to stampinpeace.com. And I've already posted that video to my blog. It's very easy to follow. It takes about half hour maybe. And this way you are all prepared for November 21st. Please note that as soon as November 21st, tomorrow, rolls around, the last chance list will be in effect. The discounted prices will go into effect. Not everything is discounted, but there are some very good definitely some very good savings in here. And if you're ordering online, please use the host code as always. But if you have any questions about that, I think most of them can be answered by you watching the replay of that live on stampinpeace.com. Okay, today I'm going to show you what I think are some very cute cards, but 3 easy ways to make those cards into gift card holders, because 'tis the season, that time of year when we do give a lot of gift cards. And I'm not sure how you feel, but I hate giving a gift card in just a little tiny envelope or sticking it in some kind of plain envelope and giving it to somebody. I like the idea of using a card and turning it into a gift card holder. So that's what we're going to do today. Right now, I'm going to flip my camera to my workspace so we can get started. And while I'm doing that, I would appreciate it very much if you would share this live video. And you can also tag your friends right in the comments. That can make it real easy if you're wanting to share with specific people. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let me move this just a bit here. Okay. As I said, we're making 3 different gift card holders today. I'm going to be using my Stampin' Pierce mat a good bit. They each use the Christmas Tidings embossing folder. This is a embossing folder that will be retiring. So if you don't have it and you want it, be sure to shop early starting tomorrow so that you can get it. Also, we're going to be using the Sending Cheer stamp set and coordinating dies. There are lots of dies to cut out the stamped images, but there's also several extra dies to enhance your creative experience. I do want to point out to you that, and I can't remember, I should have marked the page, but the Sending Cheer products are, to me, the best deal of the last chance list. I have a feeling they will go quickly, but I obviously don't know that for sure. The embossing folder is 10% off. The stamp set and the coordinating dies are each 40% off. So you can get both products. Do not use that bundle number because you'll save more by using the two separate item numbers. You'll be getting both products for, let's see, $35.40. Okay. So just wanted to point that out. And it was ironic that I've already planned what I was doing for today, but then saw that those were going to be on sale starting tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. Okay. And really I'm making Christmas gift card holders, but you can make these for any occasion, graduation, birthdays, Mother's Day, whatever you need, okay? Jenny, I agree. Who doesn't love a good sale? So let me show you how to make this. The outside of the card is designed to look like a wrapped present. I'm using a basic white, thick card base. Okay, I like the thick white and the thick vanilla for card bases. I've already, for the sake of time, I do try to be respectful of your time. And when I'm showing 3 cards and they each have use an embossing folder and die cutting, I try to do some of that die cutting and embossing ahead of time. So I've already embossed this cherry cobbler cardstock with the Christmas Tidings embossing folder. And I'm going to add that to my card front. Then I've got some strips of designer series paper. These are 4 inches by 1/4 inch and 5 1/4 inches by 1/4 inch. And I'm going to be laying these out. And when I do this, I'm not going to take my glue quite to the end just yet. And you'll see why in a moment. Okay, I want to be able to lift this end up. Going to do the same thing with the other long strip. You know what, did I say Joy of Christmas DSP? If I did, it's a Walk in the Forest DSP. Okay, a Walk in the Forest DSP. This is a great way to use up your scraps, both in making the gift card holders, but also in this present type of card. Now I'm going to be adhering the shorter strips. And I'm doing it so that it kind of looks like they're woven with the other strips. And I think this will be pretty good right about there. Sort of like doing, creating a lattice. Some of you might be creating a lattice for your apple pie crust this week, being that it is Thanksgiving here in the United States on Thursday. And I went under the first one and over the second. So now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go over and then under those longer strips. And then when I have them in place the way I want, I'm just going to fold that end back. Not even fold it back, just kind of curl it or pull it back. And adhere it flat. Okay, so you get the idea of a wrapped present, right? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is a little stamping here, and I'm going to turn it this direction. I'm using a tailor-made tag, one of my favorite die collections, because there's two shapes, similar but two different shapes, and lots of sizes. Okay, so I'm going to stamp Sending Cheer in Cherry Cobbler, and I'm stamping it a little bit closer to the left edge of my tag, and you'll see why in just a moment. Now I have a piece of scrap, basic white. I'm going to stamp the holly leaves, and then I'll stamp some berries. So I'm using, garden green and cherry cobbler for the holly and berries. And, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to stamp the berries right on it because I'm going to die cut. So let me this is what it looks great if you want to stamp an envelope. But I actually wanted to die cut each of these. So I'm going to restamp. And before I die cut those, I'll stamp some holly leaves and berries on my card front, or my envelope front. Can you tell I've been up since 6 a.m.? I'm kind of tired here. Okay, so there's my decorated envelope. And now I'm going to die cut the holly leaves and berries. And I'm going to die cut both of these at once. So there's the holly leaves, and what happened to my little berries here? Here it is. So many wonderful dies in this collection. And these I did not put on a magnet sheet. So they're kind of in a haphazard mess in the envelope. But at least they all made it to the envelope, right? Now, because I'm die cutting both of these at the same time, I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape. You can also use Post-it notes. Somebody told me there is Post-it tape, I think they said. I think that's what it was called. That I don't have because I have lots of washi tape. Washi tape goes a long, long way. And I have lots of small Post-it notes as well. So I just want to hold those dies in place so they don't move. Here's a tip. When you're pulling off your washi tape, before you pull it, just turn it a little bit, take it to the right or the left, whichever's easier for you, and tear it. Then you always know where the end is and you don't have to spend time searching for the end of your washi tape when you're ready to use it. This off. Okay. Set this aside. Now, with the embossing folder, you will need the large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but all of the other dies that I'm using on these 3 card/gift card holders can fit in a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I find that mini machine to just be so convenient because I would say maybe 85–90% of our dies fit in it. And it's not nearly as heavy, and it's just quicker and easier to grab. It doesn't take up as much space on my work surface. But if for most embossing folders, you do need the large size. I'm just going to add these holly leaves to the end of my tag. And I'm using glue dots to do this, but you could also use the multi-purpose glue. So I have the front finished, okay? So makes a beautiful card, right? Beautiful card. But I want to turn this card into a gift card holder. So I have pre-cut a 5 1/4 by 2 inch. Is it 2 inch or is it? It might be 1 3/4. Let me see. Yes, it's 1 3/4. 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. Now, you can glue this down and have this be your pocket. Just glue on the 3 sides. If you like, and this is optional, it's not necessary, but if you like, you can use one of your punches. This happens to be a 1 1/2 inch circle punch, which is not available for purchase now, but you may have a circle punch that'll work just fine, maybe anywhere from 1 inch to 1 1/4, 1 1/2, somewhere in there. And even some of our other shapes would work. Like this. You could, well, that's not really the middle. You could do this, okay? So it doesn't have to be a circle punch that you use. But you just want to cut out a small semicircle. And then just a very narrow line of glue on the bottom and the left and right side. Now I cut my DSP so that I have a border of the card base on the 3 sides. You can go all the way across. You can go all the way to the bottom and all the way across if you prefer that. You would just then cut your strip 5 1/2 inches long and push it to the bottom edge. So there's my first card made into a gift card holder. Super easy, right? And you don't even have to use DSP here. You can use cardstock for your pocket. Okay, so there's gift card holder number 1. Let's move on to number 2. Lots of pieces and parts here. Okay. My card base is garden green. And I have another sheet from A Walk in the Forest Designer Series paper pack. This is on the last chance list. It has been a great seller. And I especially love this DSP because it does coordinate with the Merriest Trees bundle, as well as the bear punch. And it is our Make a Difference product, meaning that for every pack of A Walk in the Forest DSP that's sold, Stampin' Up! Will donate $3 to Toys for Tots here in the USA. If you're in a market other than the USA, the charity will be something similar, but not the same, okay? I have cut, and I don't know what happened to my little ruler that I had here. I had 2 little rulers here that I used earlier today, and I don't know where I put them. and I have been searching for them. And I know they will turn up probably this evening when I am doing my cleanup and ending my day. So this is 3 inches by 2.5, okay? And I put it through the embossing folder. You do want to cut your pieces. Whatever pieces you're going to emboss, you want to cut those first before you put them through the embossing folder. So 2.5 by 3. And I'm mounting this onto a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock that measures 2 5/8 by 3 1/8. And I'm going to adhere this to the center of this card front. And then we're going to do a little stamping. Oftentimes, we think we have to use our embossing folders to cover the whole front. That is not the case. That is not the case. And then I'm going to, let's put this on the inside of our card. This piece of basic white measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Can you all still see and hear me? Everything looks fine on my phone, but again, Facebook on my computer has stopped. That is very, very irritating that it's constantly doing that. And I don't know what I did with my other piece of DSP. For heaven's sakes. Okay, let's go ahead and do some stamping. And I will find that piece of DSP, or I will cut another one, right? For this, I'm going to be stamping the gingerbread boy, man, girl, I don't know. And this is a photopolymer set, so you want to have either your Stampin' Pierce mat or the silicone craft mat to get a better stamped image. Okay, so there's my gingerbread. Does anybody make real gingerbread cookies, that sort of thing? Anybody? We started a new family tradition last year, and we'll be doing it on Saturday before we watch the Ohio State game. But we all get a gingerbread house, and we decorate them. Last year, we all had different ones in a contest, but this year, I think Andrea's buying them all the same, and I don't know if it's going to be a contest. And the only thing you get for winning at our house is bragging rights, right? But the fun thing is, Emily, when we were talking about it yesterday, Emily said, we could get graham crackers in the little milk cartons, and she said she remembered doing that in kindergarten in Mrs. Johnson's class. So that was a fun memory that she brought up. I bet lots of your kids and grandkids have done that. And now I'm ready to die cut this. But before I die cut this, I am going to stamp my greeting. And this is going to say for you, and I'm stamping it in garden green. Just like that. And this little tag does come in the Sending Cheer die set. I just went ahead and die cut it early. But I did not die cut the gingerbread just yet, because there is something I want to show you about this. So I'm going to die cut it. Oh, so much stuff here. I'm going to die cut it. And remember, this stamp and die set was designed for you to make Christmas tags or gift tags. So a lot of them have this little loop at the top, okay? You don't, well, they do for that, but you don't see it on these others, but you do see it on the dies. Here's another one, okay? So you do see that on the dies, but I don't want that loop for this card that I'm making. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my paper snips and just cut that little loop off, kind of round it out like that. Okay. So now I'm ready to put this on my card front. I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. 2 will do it for that size. I'm going to pop up my sentiments with a couple of the mini dimensionals, since it's such a small piece of cardstock. And I'm placing it so it looks like the gingerbread boy or girl is going to be holding that. And to finish it off on the front, I am going to tie a very small bow with some linen thread. If you want a small bow, you just pull on those ends, those tails, and makes the loop smaller. And use my snips to cut the ends. And then I'm going to just put a drop of glue, tiny drop of glue, in that hole. And that's where I'm going to place the knot of my bow. And then I'm just going to lay this piece or this clear block on top of that. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you is I stamped the hearts. There is a die cut that will stamp these 3 tiny hearts. Look how tiny this die is. Okay, so you can decide if you want to stamp the hearts. You could even color them in with a colored pencil or marker, Stampin' Blend, or you can die cut them and adhere them to the front. And I know I saw that stripe. I wonder if I put it in the wrong envelope. Okay, well, I don't know where it went. I don't see it on the floor, so I'm going to have to cut another piece of DSP. Make sure I'm grabbing the right thing. I wonder if I put it back in here after. And I remembered I was cutting so carefully because there was very little of that pretty stripe left. So I, oh, this is going to be small for me. Let's see, maybe I'll use a different one on the inside. That really is aggravating when I know I've cut it out. It was here, because none of these are quite wide enough. And I'm concerned about the width on the inside there. I'm going to use this one. And this time, since this is a vertical card, I want that strip going across the bottom, and that's just 4 inches. I need it just 4 inches wide. And then again, I'm going to do 1 3/4. You could do, for your pocket, you could do anywhere from 1 3 or 1 1/2 maybe. Probably wouldn't go smaller than that. Maybe up to 2 inches, 2 1/4. There's really no specific measurement for that. Just make it what you feel comfortable with. And you know I'm going to find that piece of DSP as soon as I stop. That's what's... You know, today is one of those, what I call a Monday. You know how some Mondays just feel, ugh. That's kind of how my day's been. I filled the washing machine with clothes and put some detergent in, and my washing machine is dead. Used it Friday, Emily used it Saturday, and now it doesn't work at all. So kind of bummed that I have to look for a new washing machine, but it is very old and has lasted long, so I'm trying to look on the bright side. Okay, so there is that Christmas card or holiday card turned gift card holder. And as you can see, there's still plenty of room to write a message as well as stick your gift card inside. And what a nice way to give a gift card, especially if you're mailing them. Especially if you're mailing them. Give them anytime, but especially with mailing them. All right, let's move on to the last one. Okay, for this, I'm using a real red. The other red cardstock was cherry cobbler, but for this one, I'm using real red because I'm going to be using the Santa hat, and I think Santa wears real red. Does that sound crazy to you? But it's true. I think Santa wears real red. Maybe St. Nicholas or, you know, the old world Santa maybe wore cherry cobbler, but I don't know. I guess it depends on how fancy or festive Santa is getting. All right, here is my piece of cardstock that measures 4 3/4 by 3.5 inches. And then I have a piece of white that I'm going to mount that to. That is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8 inches. If you're a beginning paper crafter or card maker, one tip I have for you in terms of adhering layers is always put your adhesive on the smaller of the layer. It's very rare that we want to put our adhesive on the large sheet. So if you put your adhesive on the smaller layer and then adhere that to the larger layer, you'll never get adhesive beyond the area that you want it. Okay. You know, I think I just have way too many pieces out. Okay, I die cut the Santa hat. Okay, this is gonna drive me nuts, people. What happened to my other little pom-pom? I don't know. I think it went the same place as the DSP, but we will make it work. So I've cut out the pieces for the Santa hat. Notice that the Santa hat, when you die cut it, it does have the circle, that hole for a string if you want to make it a tag. But wait till you see how we put this together. I'm going to go ahead and die cut another pom-pom for Santa's hat because it will bother me if Santa doesn't have one. I had everything nicely organized and all my envelopes here, and how can I be missing 2 things? So sorry about that. I kind of pride myself on being well prepared. So when I lose something or drop something, I get a little frustrated. And I'm just gonna poke that out with my take your pick tool. just like that. Set that aside. So to create Santa's hat, I'm using 3 die cut pieces. And let's adhere those together now. I'm putting these pieces on my Stampin' Pierce mat, or my silicone craft sheet. I'm going to put some multi-purpose glue, liquid glue on the bottom edge of the hat, and then just a small dot on the point of the hat. And then I'm going to drop on, this is what I think is supposed to be the pom-pom of Santa's hat. And then glue on the fur around the bottom edge of the hat. Now I'm ready to put this together. Before I adhere it though, and add my linen thread, I'm going to stamp a ho 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 on here. So you've got the ho, H-O stamp, and I'm using black Memento ink, and I'm just going to stamp it 3 times. And I'm not trying to get it all lined up. In fact, I think it looks a little more fun this way. Then I'm going to adhere Santa's hat to the tag. And when I do this, I'm going to be lining up the 2 holes. So the holes of the white hole of the white tag with the hole of the red Santa hat. Just like that. And you can leave them unattached and then just put the linen thread on, but I decided I was going to attach the hat to the white tag with dimensionals so it wouldn't be moving around. But if you like the idea of the 2 tags together and they're able to move independently, or that I should say the hat will be able to move independently, you can do that as well. Remember, I'm always here to give you inspiration, tips, that sort of thing. I never, ever want you to feel that you have to copy things exactly. If you want to put your own twist on something I make or show you, please, please do that. If you don't have the same products I'm using and want to substitute with your own, please do that as well. These Facebook Lives, any ideas I present on a Facebook Live or on my blog are always intended to provide you with inspiration and even some helpful tips and techniques at times. So there is that, okay? Now I want to finish this off by making this a gift card holder, but I'm not going to do it the same way. I've got a 4" by 4" piece of designer series paper, just anything that coordinates with what you have on front, and I'm going to cut it on the diagonal. Now, one thing I want you to think about is if you have something that is directional, like this piece is, right, top and bottom, you want to turn it towards your right, because we are going to be putting, and by the way, here's another tip. When you've got small points that you're cutting across, start in the middle of your paper and then move in each direction. Sometimes when we start and we start off the DSP and we hit that point, it'll kind of crinkle or tear. So we just want it to look real nice, so that's why we do it that way. And now this will be my pocket on the inside here, okay? I chose this one for the garden green trees that coordinate with the garden green on the front of my card. So these, you can use up a lot of scraps and a lot of small pieces of DSP and cardstock when you are turning your handmade cards into gift card holders. That first card I showed you, also the present or gift wrapped looking card, that's another great way to use up some scraps, right? All right, let's go ahead and stamp a couple more envelopes. This one I will stamp with the gingerbread. This fun and festive little guy. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp those hearts. Being that this is a photopolymer set, oops, didn't line that up so good. I'm trying to look over the top and I can't really see over the top without getting my head in the video. Okay, that's pretty good. And gingerbread boy needs a face. So I used pecan pie. Makes you think of Thanksgiving, doesn't it? Pecan pie. And early espresso for the face then. So pecan pie, cherry cobbler, and early espresso. And for this one with the Santa hat, I'm just going to do a ho, ho, ho all the way down the left edge of the front of that envelope. And this time I'm actually going to stamp it with not cherry cobbler, I want real red. I have so many ink pads laid out. Whew, it's kind of dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to stamp ho, 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 whoops. And I'm just going to keep going all the way down the left edge of my envelope, making it kind of fun. Wouldn't a child love to get that? Ooh, ho, ho, ho. And so there is my envelope for this card. And we have the gingerbread boy or girl. And then we have that one with the holly leaves. So what do you think, people? What do you think? Okay, anybody interested in receiving one of these 3 holiday gift card holders, please type in the comments now, sending cheer, sending cheer. So let's review quickly. You can use your DSP strips, your scraps to do a present-like card front. You could even do it right across the middle too. I've done that in the past and that's fun as well. And then with this horizontal card, I created a pocket with a 5 1/4 by 1 3/4 inch piece of DSP. On the second one, I want to point out that I embossed a much smaller piece of cardstock as a background. And for the pocket, for the gift card, I used a piece of 4 inch wide by 1 3/4 inch high DSP. And then for the last one, this is a vertical card again. I started with a 4 by 4 square. If you want to make yours a little smaller, you can, but I like that this is the same width as this white piece. So that's why I started with 4 by 4. So 4 by 4 square, and then you cut it on the diagonal, being careful which diagonal direction you're going will determine the pocket. Okay, so you want your triangle to sit in the bottom left corner for your pocket. All right. Now keep in mind, you can do this. You might have birthday cards in your stash. If you are giving a gift card for a birthday, you can pull out one of the cards you already made and simply add a piece of DSP or cardstock to the inside of it. Okay? All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you missed the earlier Facebook Live where I walked through the mini catalog showing you what's retiring and what is discounted starting tomorrow, please, you can find that on stampinpiece.com. So go there and note that that last chance list, anything on there is while supplies last only, starting tomorrow, November 21st. Okay? Thursday is Thanksgiving here in the USA, so I will not be doing a Facebook Live on Thursday, but I hope to be able to get some more posts out on stampinpiece.com and put up some more videos on my YouTube channel so you can be inspired if you're going to be crafting later this week. Have a great evening, and I will see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.